Most directors lose their job even before they start to work on their treatments. And sometimes that your treatment is perfect and it's great visuals. You work so hard, but you still receive this message. Sorry, but the agency decided to go with someone else. That's super annoying. I know, been there, done that. And in this video, I'm gonna break down my way to craft successful pitch. And it's not only about the visuals, it's also about the psychology of it. I'm a film, commercial, and music video director with 10 years experience, and my work explores beauty and absurdity of life with a subtle touch of humor. I pitched quite few projects. Some I won, some I lost. Last year, I won almost 60% of my pitches. And here, what I learned. You already lost it if you skip this. Most directors start with visuals and references. And that's great. I love it. But they sometimes skip the most important, like why this video should exist. What actually this video, what kind of problem for the business this video solves, right? It's not just express yourself as a director and make beautiful and inspiring visuals. Of course, I love it. That's why I'm doing. But ultimately, that's not sometimes what clients needs. A business sometimes have different needs. It's like to grow, to engage with audience, to promote new product. Sometimes it's not necessary even sell it. Sometimes it's just building trust and showing that you understand it increases your chances to win. By the way, sometimes that happens that the client doesn't know what they want. In these cases, it's really hard to win the pitch. So just accept it because you cannot deliver a good result if the client actually doesn't know what they want. So, and the call with agency, this is actually your pitch. And I love it. It's my favorite part. And actually, sometimes I even not participate in project where I cannot have a call because I still believe that what we're doing is very emotional, and if we need to have a conversation. So I always treat like that. The briefing is actually like a date. It's not about impressing someone. It's more about finding connection, and finding connection you can only build if you listen and if you ask right questions. Just like create the kind of chemistry. Actually, sometimes it happens that just vibing, and it's absolutely fine like dates. But also, if you look from another perspective, why they want to have a call? They want to understand what kind of person you are. They want to understand how to talk with you. Like, are you funny? Are you easy? Can you listen them? Are you collaborative? They not only choosing, your transitions and your references, they choosing a personality. And for example, a successful pitch and was one of my favorite project. It was a Bumble commercial. And I had a chemistry call slash brief with Kira, creative director. And I don't know, it was just like, we just loved to talk with each other and we immediately felt this connection. So creative call is also your chance to just touch the ground, test some of your ideas, but you're not pitching them yet, right? You're just exploring. Some agencies, they not really want to share with you everything. They kind of want to actually see what you propose. The agency want to know that you're collaborative, but at the same time, they want to have your vision. So they want to feel that you're confident and you're not just trying to please them, because they don't want to have ordinary. They still want to see the individuality. And my main question I always ask is, what emotion you want to achieve after we watch this video? Receiving an answer on this question, finding out what the need is. Everything else is like light, camera, editing comes from this idea. Let's say if they say we want to feel playful, then you craft storytelling based on this answer. At least that's what I'm doing. Of course, I know that videos can be different. Sometimes it's just maybe technical car commercial, but personally, I lean to tell stories, and I just started all this career because video gives me so much emotions. I like storytelling. In most of the pitches, I pitch is pitch. Uh, it's all about emotions. And I think this is a core question, to be honest. So, my second question, I also asked what you want me to focus on the treatment. Because sometimes the timeline for crafting your pitch could be different. Sometimes they give you 5 days, sometimes just 2 days. You just don't want to, write 50 pages without understanding what's the most important for the agency. But I like to ask this: what speaks to you the most in my work? I know maybe it's a little bit narcissistic question, but why not? Because I think we all developed our language and our style, and sometimes it helps us to understand if we actually not random in the speech, because this actually also happens. And for me, it's like basically helping me to manage my expectations. If they like something, for example, most of the time clients saying that they really like our work with emotions, okay, then this is like my power, they really want it and I can use it. And now the actual treatment starts after the call. And I think that director's job is not just having ideas, it's ability to translate clients' needs into clear vision. I still believe, it's my personal approach, that you win the pitch in the first 3 pages. And usually you describe what is actually this video is, what's your core element, right? And second, what, as I told, emotion you want to focus. A few examples from my previous pitches. For Bumble, I shared my personal experience, which was actually, I think, the bridge that connected us. I really had a lot of dates, and I even wrote it in the pitch. When I asked what you want to focus on, the answer, we want to see how you imagine the intuition world. And this is how I came up with this idea of the second world, which is rotating. Another example, Angel's Envy, it's like American whiskey. I mentioned that instead of having a lot of shots, let's focus on one. North London Collegiate School. The foundation of my idea was to show the duality of the school, and I introduced it right on the first page of my treatment. I believe that when the idea is clear, honestly, you don't need so much words. And these ideas should be translated like first 3 pages. The rest is just supporting it. Next is a tone of voice, where I define the emotional aftertaste of the film. Let's say for Bon Prix, it was confident and intimate, with a touch of playfulness and a subtle sass. I also reference my own work, as it's the most precise way to show what I can deliver. After tone of voice, I move to look and feel. This is where I describe the image. Do we want it soft and sunny, or what kind of colors are we living in? What palette are we building? It's all about the texture of the film, and in a way, this is a promise of how the video is actually going to look like. Core element is this script. Here I try to break down scene by scene. The way you're writing, especially if we talk about emotional films, it's important what wording you use. For example, if we talk about dates, let's say you can say, instead of he looked at her and smiled, you can say he looked at her like he already missed her. In some cases, I do storyboards. Depends on the pitch itself. I think what's also important in the script, that you understand the timing. All of the commercial is like right now 15 seconds. Back then, when I started, it was 30 seconds, but still, it's pretty short. Most important part for the client is the product, because you're not here just only to make beautiful lifestyle shots. Yes, because the commercial exists only because of this product. So remember about the business. The next part is cinematography. Talk a little bit more about the camera movement and how the camera helps us to achieve certain emotions. We have editing, color grading, casting, wardrobe, art department, locations. This part for me would not work if you don't understand what emotions you want to tell and what the story is about. So this is just extension. It's like natural extension how you see the project. In most cases, you will not win the pitch if you suggested like an amazing music. Layout should represent your personality, artistic voice, And of course, translate as well the brand world. If you talk about all the time being playful and light, then the fonts, designs, the references obviously should be in that direction, like a poster of the film, right? Sometimes you immediately see the genre, like is it a horror or it's a comedy? So this is exactly how your treatment should look like a poster of the film. So the client really can understand, okay, I like that. I want to see that. References, because they should translate your vision and what you want to achieve. I use Frameset, Shot Deck, Pinterest, Instagram a lot. I follow industry festivals like Berlin Commercial, 1.4, Cyclopa, Young Directors Award, because they celebrate the best work in the industry. And I think it's important just to follow what happens in this space and stay relevant. When I create a deck, I collect all my references in Milanote, so everything is in one place. And I usually work with designers who help craft the deck, while I prefer to write my text myself and I polish it with ChatGPT. Since I'm not a native speaker, that's really helpful. And this one I learned hard way is losing. Losing the pitch is very, very difficult. It's very personal. And especially after you spend 5 days working on the pitch, it's really hard. But it's even harder when you develop a strong attachment. And my personal rule, as soon as I send the pitch, I let it go like a balloon. Get rid of your expectations, focus on other stories, and I believe that much more sustainable, because in this commercial business world, this gonna be like always, this battle of winning losing the pitches. And if we want to stay in this business a bit longer, we have to develop this skill to cope with it. So, and what I learned that pitches is not only about ideas, and sometimes it's not about the most creative idea. Sometimes people just want to feel safe and they choose the safest idea. And they just want to feel that they understood and they can trust you. And once they trust you, they understand that you can build something together, together, together. That's it. And good luck with your pitches.